You ever have one of those moments, you're just watching something totally ordinary, and then suddenly, click, a whole new way of seeing the world just cracks open right in front of you? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. How a simple observation can blossom into this incredibly powerful new framework for understanding, well, pretty much everything.
So, our story starts in a place that's probably familiar to a lot of you, a local ice rink. The guy who came up with this whole idea, Oliver Ding, was just there watching his son learn to skate. And his son's doing okay. He's a little wobbly maybe, but he's comfortable, he's gliding around. Just a normal day at the rink. Nothing special, right?
But then a new class starts up. Another little kid gets on the ice and immediately starts crying, just terrified. He wants off, but his mom is kind of gently nudging him towards the teacher. He falls, and the crying just gets louder. And right there, you have this incredibly sharp contrast. One kid who feels right at home, and another who is completely overwhelmed and wants out.
Now for the author, this wasn't just some kid having a bad day. He actually called it a defining moment. It was a spark. It just lit up this deep curiosity in him. He started seeing the whole scene differently, not as just two kids, but as this entire ecosystem of people and tools and rules all interacting. And that one observation, that one moment, sent him down a path to create a whole new way of looking at these situations.
And it really all boiled down to this one single powerful question. How do we actually make sense of what's going on here? The relationship between the person, their tools, the skates, the ice, and the social world all around them. The teacher, the parent, the other kids. It's this complex dance, and he realized he needed a map, a model, to really understand it. So to answer that big question, he came up with this really fascinating idea. That any activity, and I mean any activity, from skating to your day job, really has two distinct sides. There's a physical side, and there's a social side. Let's break that down.
Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is what he calls the Lifeway. This is all about the interaction between us and the material world. Think of it as the physical, tangible stuff. So back at the ice rink, the Lifeway is what the ice and the skates afford you. They give you the ability to glide. It's that unique possibility that only happens when you combine a person with their specific tools and environment.
And then you've got the other side of the coin, the Lifeform. This is all about the interaction between humans and other humans. It's the social layer. At the rink, the Lifeform is the class structure. It's the teacher's instructions. It's a parent shouting encouragement from the side. It's that whole web of human-to-human engagement.
Now this slide, this is where it really clicks into place, right? The Lifeway is the physical world basically asking, what can I do here? It's all about what the environment affords you. But the Lifeform, that's the social world, asking, okay, how do we do this together? And it's built on what the author calls supportance, that whole network of help and rules and encouragement that makes the activity really work.
And this visual, this just hits the nail on the head. Lifeway and Lifeform, they aren't two separate things. They're nested. One exists inside the other. You can't really have one without the other. The physical act of skating, the Lifeway, is happening inside the social context of the lesson, the Lifeform. And together, they create one complete system.
Okay, so we've got these two big loops, Lifeway and Lifeform. But how do they actually work when you're looking at a real situation? Well, the author breaks them down even further into 8 key concepts that give us a much more detailed and really powerful framework. So let's build this thing out piece by piece.
So this whole system can be mapped out with these 8 ideas, and they're organized into 4 pairs. We're going to start with the one that's probably the most intuitive, the subject axis, which is really all about who is involved in this thing.
The subject axis splits into 2. First, you've got the actor. That's the main person doing the thing, so the kid learning to skate or the coach teaching the class. They're at the very center of the action. And then you have the group. That's everybody else in the social mix, the parents cheering, the other kids in the class, even the guy driving the Zamboni. They all shape that experience.
Next up is the object axis. This one also splits. You've got material, which is the physical stuff the actor is using, the skates, the ice, a hockey stick. That's pure Lifeway. Then you have information, which is part of the social Lifeform. This is the intangible stuff, the rules of the game, the words the teacher is saying, or even just a cone on the ice that tells you where to skate. It's the knowledge that guides the action.
So what even gets you into the system to begin with? Well, that's the enter axis. It splits into intention, which is the actor's personal why, their motivation or goal. For the kid, it might just be the desire to learn and have some fun. For a pro, it's to win a gold medal. And resources are all the external things that make it possible, having the money for lessons, the time to go, or a parent willing to drive you to the rink every week.
And when you put all of those pieces together, boom, you get this, the complete life system framework. You can see how all the concepts we just talked about, actor and group, material and information, intention and resource, all fit together. And that final axis on the right, that deals with the outcome. It splits into the direct result of the action, like landing a jump, and the social reward you get from the group, like applause or a medal. It's a dynamic map for any activity.
Now here's where this framework gets really cool. It doesn't just work for one kid in one skating class. You can actually scale it up to understand activities at totally different levels of complexity.
The author points out there are 4 main types of life systems, and what's so great is how they build on each other. It can start with a simple, one-off, situated system and grow all the way to a massive, global, scalable one. And that's what makes this so powerful. You can use the same core logic to analyze a single moment or an entire industry.
Let's go back to the rink one last time. A situated life system, that's just a kid trying on skates once for fun. The social rules are pretty minimal. A skilled life system is that weekly program. It's a routine, it's about getting better. But a scalable life system? Whoa, that's the entire world of Olympic figure skating, with its international rules, huge sponsorships, and global TV audiences. The core action, the Lifeway, is still just skating on ice, but the social world around it, the Lifeform, has become this massive, complex, global machine.
So, here's the most important point of all. This framework isn't just some abstract theory for academics to debate. It's a practical lens, a tool that you can start applying to your own life right now.
So how does this actually apply to you? Well, just think about all the different worlds you live in every day. Your job, your hobbies, that side project you're working on. The Life System Framework is this amazing tool for mapping out those worlds and figuring out what makes them tick.
Seriously, think about it. Are you trying to learn some new software? That's a life system. Are you trying to figure out the politics at your office? Yep, that's a life system too. Launching a startup, or even just trying to understand why one team at work clicks and another one doesn't? All of these are life systems, and you can map every single one of them using those 8 concepts we just walked through.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway, the thing I want to leave you with. I want you to turn this lens on yourself. Think about the most important project in your life right now, work or personal, doesn't matter. What is its Lifeway, the core hands-on physical stuff you're doing? And what is its Lifeform, that social web of rules and support and people that surrounds it? I guarantee if you can get a clear picture of those 2 sides of the coin, it just might change the way you see everything.